Okay, in this recording, I want to talk about how it's easier for guys to get jobs. To me, it seems like it's a little easier for men to get jobs because it just seems like as a woman, like, I don't know, it's almost like when you go in for the interview and everything, it's almost like right away people will automatically perceive you as having to be pretty, having to have this certain image, because in most workplaces and whatnot, there are usually younger women who work at these jobs, and when the manager interviews them and everything, it's almost like for younger women it's easier for them because they don't have to worry about putting so much makeup on. Usually they're very cheerful. They're usually more themselves. They have more of like a happier demeanor because they know that they're more youthful. They look better than the older women. So this is why I think it's easier for most men to get jobs. It's easier for most men to land their positions because all they have to do is just wake up. All they have to do is put on their desired clothing. They don't have to worry so much about how they look. But I think for mid-age women like myself, like I always, when I'm going in for an interview, it's always in the back of my head. I always think like, well, am I pretty enough? And that's kind of I don't know, it's just this weird, like, automatic thought that I have, like that thought always comes into my mind, like, when I'm going to these job interviews. It's like, I mean, of course personality matters too, and, like, your work history matters too, but it's like, but overall, like, if you're a woman, though, like, I think, like, the looks factor generally matters more when these managers are hiring people to work for them. I think looks really do play a great part in the women's role into getting a job, because I just feel like it's easier. It's easier for these younger women out here because they know that they don't have to put so much makeup on just to really land the job, and I think by looks alone, even if the young woman doesn't have any prior experience, she could get hired on the spot right there if she looks really good, if her attractiveness is up to par. Like, she could just get hired on the spot right there just because she looks really good. But how I'm thinking though. For older women though, it kind of declines, you know, even if, even if you know that, your looks are depleting because you're getting older, I think it can be more difficult for, you know, 30s, women who are in their 30s to mid 30s on up. Like, I think it's just generally harder because your looks start to decline. But I know looks aren't everything though. I'm just saying, like, I think, when you're trying to get a job, when you're trying to get hired somewhere, like, looks do play a big factor in whether whether your employer or your manager wants to hire you or not. I mean, of course your resume has to read well and everything with them too, but for women though, I think they're more concerned about their looks when they're going into these job interviews. But I think it's easier for men though, because they don't have to worry about their looks as much. So if a male manager is interviewing a particular man, if a manager would hire this other person he's interviewing, like, he could just hire him from previous experience alone. Like, his looks don't really matter that much. And I think it's weird too, because even if a woman does get hired and everything, like, they like her personality and everything. But it's just like, it's just like, I wouldn't dare go to work without makeup on. Like, otherwise people will treat you if you're a woman, if you're a somewhat older woman like me, and you don't have makeup on, it's almost like people will treat you different just because you're not so attractive, without it on. Like, say like you're a woman and you go into your job and you work at your job, and you have your makeup, you have your makeup done and you're really pretty, you like how you applied your makeup. Some people may see you as cute. Some people may think, oh yeah, I like how you did your makeup and everything, but it's just like, you get self-conscious about not wearing your makeup, as a woman going into your job, because people are more, it's weird, because it just seems like people go, especially customers and everything, I just feel like people go off more by your looks. Like, I mean, if this is only for a woman, but if you're a man, like, that doesn't matter. Like, if you're a man, it only matters if you work hard. If you work hard throughout the day and you're good at your job, that's all that matters. But if you're a woman though, like, if you go into your job and you work your job but you don't have makeup on, people will treat you different. So I can't help how I look. Without makeup, I have dark under eye circles. I get that from my dad, and I can't help how I naturally look, so without the makeup, I look tired. I look, I just generally look more tired, more worn out, but that's how genetically, that's how I was genetically made, though, naturally. But with this whole career, with this whole like woman's career thing, if you're a woman and you go into your job and everything, it's just like people expect you to look a certain way all the time. People expect you to look beautiful. People expect you to look pretty during your job all the time. So it's almost like, I don't know. I just think that's how it really is for women, I just think it's harder for women at jobs, because if you don't look a certain way, people will just think people will just think like, oh, well, why didn't you put on your makeup today? Or, like, oh, well, you kind of look, it's like you don't look as good as with your makeup on. Like, they'll just perceive you, they'll just perceive you a certain way because you don't look as good without the makeup on. I just think it's kind of crazy. I mean, of course you can go in without makeup on. It's fine. It's just, people want you to look a certain way when you're a woman. But for the man, it's like, oh, yeah, he does, for men, they don't have to care so much about how they look. They can just go into their workplace and just, work hard and, be friendly and talk to people, and, that's it. And he goes home. He doesn't have to worry so much about how he looks at his job. But for women, it's not like that. Like, I don't know. I just think that's kind of crazy. Like, now that you think about that, like, but it's just like, but when you have a job and you go in and stuff, it's just like, well, it's like you don't feel like putting on makeup every day. Like, it gets exhausting. Like, just trying to upkeep a certain image for people. And that's the reason why, I'm more suited for working by myself, because, or around one other person, because you're not around the public so much, and you're not expected to look a certain way all the time. Like, no, you can just be yourself, but you can kind of be more yourself. You can kind of be more yourself when you're just around, like, one other person working, but when you're around the public, though, it's like they want you to, as a female, they want you to play a part, they want you to look a certain way, to appease to customers and everything. And I just think that's kind of bullshit, because sometimes I wake up in the morning and, like, you need to go to work at a certain time in the morning, and it's just like, fuck, I don't feel like putting on makeup right now. Like, I want to go to work just being myself, Like, I want to feel like I can go to work without makeup on, you know, and not feel like I'm, you know, and not feeling like I'm being judged by people just because, you know, I have dark under eye circles, I look tired. Like, I just think that, I just think that would get exhausting, you know, for somebody like me, like, because it feels like when you're a female, when you're a woman, you know, it just feels like I have to appease everybody by my looks all the time. Like, and to me, like, it just seems like it'd be kind of exhausting after a while if you have to wake up every morning and put on your makeup every dang morning. Like, and sometimes I just think, like, well, can I just go into work without makeup on one time? Like, I don't know if you guys feel the same way about that, but any women who are on my channel who view my videos who think the same way, like, just feel like, oh yeah, it's just super exhausting, like having to try to please people all the time at your job just because you have to try and look a certain way for them. You know, when you're dealing with customers and everything. Like, I don't know. But with men though, they can just show up and, you know, not have to worry about how they look. You know, they can just show up to their job and, you know, their skill sets will help them through their work, you know. Their skill sets will help them work more efficiently throughout the day. All they have to do is just work hard and be friendly, be kind to the other workers. They don't have to worry about how they look as much as as much as women have to, because, you know, people in these people in these workforce jobs, people in the workforce. If you're a woman and you're working, like, people just expect you to look flawless when it's not really like that. You know, you don't really look like that. Like, you know, I could be making this video right now and I'm talking to you guys and I have makeup on because I went to an interview. I have another interview tomorrow. But it's just like, this is not how I really look. Like, I don't look, you know, even though I have makeup on, I don't look like this. Like, this is not my real face. I just think it's bullshit how people just, you know, for women though, it can be exhausting when you have to put on a certain image every day for people by putting on makeup. And at my last job, I felt like, you know, I could put on makeup anytime I wanted to. And I could work without my makeup on. People wouldn't care because the last job I had was kind of cruddy, you know, so people didn't really expect you to look a certain way at my last job. But, you know, say like for more high-end jobs though, like office jobs and you know, casino jobs and everything, which I hope I get, because they didn't need me at the store. But it's almost like those, you know, those types of jobs, those particular types of jobs, like they want you to look a certain way. They want you to look a certain way. Otherwise, if you don't have your makeup on, it's like people are just kind of like standoffish towards you, you know, like they just don't think you're that pretty, you know. If you're a woman who has like average looks, like me, like if I don't have my makeup on while I'm working, it's like people will be less adamant to talk to me. But if I have the makeup on, you know, people will think I'm cute, you know, they'll come up and talk to me and shit, but unless you're a really attractive woman and you don't need tons of makeup on, like, people will be people will want to talk to you all the time just because you're that attractive, you know. But for someone like me, and most other people who have average looks, they have to try harder. They have to try harder to, you know, look good for their job and everything. But anyway, I just wanted to get this recording out. I'm hoping I have my fingers crossed for tomorrow because I have another job interview at the casino. Hopefully the job interview goes well. So I really want to try and get some money coming in for myself. That way, like, I can just get out of the house and not be so bored. You know, I'll be interacting with other people and everything. So, but just because the interview goes well, though, it doesn't mean that you're gonna land the job. Because there's always other people who are just, you know, one step ahead of you. You know. And those people get the job, but not you. And it's kind of discouraging. But, you know, you can't be discouraged. I mean, I can't let, you know, that bum me out so much because, I mean, where I live, there aren't that many job openings anyway, but, you know, I'm just thinking all I have to do is just keep talking to these people. Just keep talking to these people and, you know, sooner or later you'll get into a position. But it's just you have to be consistent with, you know, the jobs. You know, the job positions and everything. Like the certain, like, you know, like pick a certain job you like. Pick a certain job that you would see yourself in and just keep going back. Like, keep going back, talking to these people. And eventually they'll put you in a position. But yeah, I mean, that's, you know, that's my whole mindset on why I think men can land jobs easier, just because of their you know, their prior work experience. They're hardy, you know, they're able to lift things. But, you know, as a woman, though, when you're getting into these jobs, though, it just feels like, you know, it just feels like you're almost competing with other women and everything and, you know, on how you look and everything. It's just freaking crazy. Like, I imagine that would get exhausting, though, after a while. You know, for women, because they think that they have to uphold a certain image every day for people. You know, by putting all these kinds of creams on their faces and shit, and, you know, mascara and eyeshadow and all that bullshit on your face. It's like, and one of these times, it's like, I want to go to work without makeup on. Like, And, you know, and not have people just people just think or view you a certain way, or think that you're uglier without makeup on. Like, how is that fair? Like, but people, you know, people in this world, it's just like they can't really see you for who you truly are. It's almost like you gotta put on this front, like, with other people. But, I mean, that's it, you guys. That's all I wanted to say in this recording. It's pretty long. Okay, makeup on right now. And, you know, I may look cute, but, like, I'm not super attractive, you know. But this is not, you know, this is not how I really look. And I'm doing this without a filter either, so, I mean, I just have makeup on, but this is not how I really look. Like, I look way different without all this on. So, I understand the women's struggle with, you know, careers and stuff, and going to jobs every day, and, you know, feeling like you have to look a certain way just to